Hey everybody, my name's Lauren Cohn and I'm here to teach you everything I know about how to unleash your soul as a bassist through the power of jazz. This is the official relaunch of my YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting out these videos a few times a month. And as you know, if you've ever watched a YouTube video, if you like what you're seeing here, please do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the top 5 qualities that all great jazz bass players possess. Make sure to stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to give you the key concept that ties this all together. So let's get right into it. Number 5. All great jazz bassists are supportive. A great jazz bass player is really a team player. Of course, we want to solo, we want to play flashy stuff, and nowadays people are playing so much stuff on the bass. But ultimately, the greatest jazz bass players are trying to make everybody around them sound good. My mentor right back here, the great Bob Cranshaw, this was his motto. Bob wanted to make everybody sound good. He used to talk about playing with Sonny Rollins like he was blocking in a football game, so Sonny could be the running back and run through.
I always equate things, I like sports, and so I equate myself as I'm blocking for Sonny, who's a halfback, who is just skill, and he'll find a place to run through. I don't care how big a block, whether you go left or right, Sonny, I enjoy blocking for Sonny because he runs the ball so well. You know, it's a touchdown. It's always a lot of yards gained when I play with Sonny because he's a superstar.
That's the kind of approach that the great jazz bass players have, and that's the kind of approach that we need to have, not only if we want to sound great as a jazz bassist, but if we want to work. Number 4, all the great jazz bassists play with a great sound. Now there's this video that's been going around of Ray Brown where he talks about sound being the most important thing, and this is absolutely true.
The most important thing you can do with this instrument is not play fast, not play solos, but get a good sound.
Whether you play acoustic bass, upright bass, electric bass, your sound is your signature. Now if you play the upright bass, you want to work on your sound acoustically, but you also want to make sure to work on your sound amplified so that you have a concept of how to get a good sound in a live setting when you're playing with other musicians. One quick tip here, when you're playing live and if you're using some sort of amplification, which I highly recommend, go for presence as opposed to volume. So often I hear bass players playing live and they just turn up the volume to get more sound. We need to focus more on presence than volume. And one great way to do that is to lift your amplifier or your speaker or whatever you're using to amplify your sound off the ground. Players today like Ron Carter and Larry Grenadier do this, and I've done it recently with great effect. Lifting the amp or the speaker off the ground, even to ear level, is going to make it possible for everybody in the ensemble to hear you clearly, so you won't have to turn up volume-wise. It'll just be more directed at your fellow musicians. Number 3, all great jazz bass players outline the chord changes. Both these instruments, the bass guitar and the upright bass, have changed so much over the last 40 or 50 years. People are playing so much stuff on these instruments, it's crazy. But none of that means anything if we're not outlining the root movement and the harmony. We should be able to play a walking bass line alone with nobody else around us, and the audience should be able to clearly hear the chords moving by. When it comes to outlining the chord changes, the old principle of KISS, keep it simple, stupid, applies. To play strong, effective, solid bass lines that outline the chord changes, you don't need a lot of sophisticated materials. Roots, simple passing tones, and chord tones will do the trick. Number 2, all great jazz bassists clearly outline the form and keep the form consistently. Remember, our bandmates are relying on us to be the foundation, to be the rock of the band. If we can't keep the form, then we are failing miserably at doing our most essential thing that we are expected to do. Make sure you practice keeping the form. When you're working on a new tune, say aloud the sections. So as the sections go by, say A section, B section, first A, second A, last A, until you really ingrain that form. Our bandmates are looking to us that they can take chances and that we can, again, be supportive and be the foundation for them to launch their blowing and their improvisation. So if we can't keep the form, we're really not being good bass players. And for the number one thing that all great jazz bassists do, and you probably already know what I'm going to say here, they make the music feel good. It was always my goal as a bass player to make people dance. We're talking about groove here. We need to play with a rock solid pulse, and we need to swing. We need to play with a consistent pulse and an amazing feel. My goal as a bassist is to be able to play alone on a stage and rock the house, make everybody in that room get up and dance. Now in future videos, I'm going to talk about how we can practice our feel and how we can work on our time and our pocket. Focus on getting people up and dancing. Jazz is dance music. People can dance to this music, and your goal should be to get people out of their chairs, rocking the house and moving their body. So as I said, I'm also going to reveal to you what ties this all together, and it's a single word, a single concept, and that is clarity. Clarity is the thing that all great musicians have that is evident whenever they're playing, and it's especially important for us bassists. All of these 5 tips, if we can have them under our belt, will give our playing that sense of clarity, which is going to make our groove sound great. Clarity is going to make our sound transparent and clear to everybody on the bandstand. Clarity is what's going to make the form clear to everybody on the bandstand. Clarity of our beat, of our groove, is what's going to support our bandmates and make them sound good. Strive for clarity in your bass playing. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I'll see you next time. Until then, practice well.